All right, so I've got an idea that I think is going to add a lot of value to you guys. It's going to really encourage you. It's going to help spread awareness of depersonalization, realization, and other symptoms that people experience. I'm really excited about it, but we'll see if it works. We're going to try it out for a little bit, and the success will kind of be dependent on you guys and how many people email me. Anyway, I'm going to give you this new email that I've created where you can kind of send me your story. And the purpose of this is to really help spread awareness. And I'm going to give you kind of the template that I want you to follow, and that way it can really accomplish the goal that we're trying to accomplish. So tons of people search the internet, they're on Reddit, they're on YouTube, they're on Facebook groups, and they're trying to find a description of what they're going through, especially with depersonalization realization, but they just can't seem to find it. And it makes them feel hopeless. And so the purpose of these videos is to really help people see that they're not alone and that other people are experiencing similar things to them. And so I'm going to give you my email that I've created here in just a second, but here's kind of the template. And I'm going to put this in a link in the description, as well as the first pinned comment, as well as the email to send this to. And really take your time with it. And by the way, before I read this, it doesn't need to be crazy long, but it definitely doesn't need to be short either. So medium, you know what I mean? So maybe maximum, like, I don't know, maybe like 10 paragraphs. So if a paragraph was like 4 sentences, max 10 paragraphs. So, don't send me something that's like 100 paragraphs, because obviously I won't be able to read that. The video will be too long. Anyway, I'm going to read these stories on video on YouTube to encourage people and to spread awareness. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And I'm also going to give you the opportunity to ask a question at the end. But the main purpose is to spread awareness. So I need you to be really in depth with everything you say. So the first thing, what symptoms are you experiencing? As well as I need you to describe them in as much detail as possible. Depersonalization, realization, existential fears, rumination, health anxiety, panic attacks, generalized anxiety, intrusive thoughts, anxious thoughts, and just, any types of anxious symptoms or trauma symptoms, so memory issues, time feels distorted, just everything that you're experiencing. Try to describe it in as much depth as possible. And then the second thing is, what impact has that had on your life, right? Like as far as your relationships, your job, and just living every day. How has that impacted you? The second thing is, what difficulties have you had in times past that you believe led up to you experiencing these symptoms? I want you to think back to all the painful experiences that you've had that started to dysregulate your nervous system, that led up to this state of nervous system overwhelm that caused ultimately depersonalization, realization. So I know for me, I went through very severe bullying from the time I was a kid, and parents went through a very nasty divorce whenever I was a kid, kind of destroyed our family. And although it was restored and my mom remarried, my dad remarried to amazing people, but it really did devastate our family during some very fundamental periods of my growth and my brother's growth. But also lost my grandma prematurely in high school, lost several loved ones, didn't know how to deal with that, and just became a very anxious kid pretty early on. But anyway, after I graduated high school, you guys who have followed me for a while know I had a bad marijuana experience, and then that's what initially caused me to hit that overwhelm point and start to experience DPDR and other trauma symptoms. But I was still very stressed and anxious leading up to that. So that's complex trauma, right? It's not just one big bad situation. It's a series of stressors that builds up over a period of time. And then eventually you hit an overwhelm point, like a cup of water, right? So what were the painful experiences that led up to you hitting that overwhelm point? Could have been a breakup. It could have been a divorce that you went through. Maybe you went through narcissistic abuse. That's another thing I forgot to mention. How could I forget? Went through severe narcissistic abuse multiple times. There's 3 total people that came into my life for years and that I now know were narcissists, but I didn't know that at the time. And so it really caused a lot of devastation and constant nervous system dysregulation. But anyway, write those things out. What were those painful experiences? The next thing is, what have you done so far to get rid of your symptoms? Maybe you've tried CBT, maybe you've tried talk therapy, maybe you've tried medications, maybe you've tried acceptance, maybe you've tried distraction, maybe you've tried more body-based stuff. What have you tried so far, and has it helped? Did it not help? Did it make things worse? Did it do nothing? What has been your experience with that? And then the last thing is, if you could ask me one question for how to get rid of these symptoms, what is that? And keep that question pretty short, because again, now that you've gone through all this stuff beforehand, we got to be careful that it's not like an hour-long video. My goal is to probably try to make it like a, maybe like a 15 to 20-minute video. And so, but anyway, ask me whatever question you have, and I will answer it for you to the best of my ability. And I think it's going to do a lot of good. I think it's going to spread a lot of awareness, encourage people. And obviously, I can't answer everybody. So if you take the time to write it out and I don't do a video on it, doesn't mean that I don't value what you said. And thank you for writing to me. But I want to choose situations that I feel like will help a lot of people. And also, I'll keep you private. I'm not going to mention your name. I'm not going to mention, obviously, your email or anything like that. It'll be 100% private. You can tell me if you want me to mention your first name, or you can even just make up a name. Like maybe your name's Bob, but you say, hey, just call me David, or say I'm David, or your name is Sally and you want to go by June or something. Right? Just tell me what name that you want me to use in the video. And if you don't want me to use a specific name, I'll just make up a name. So that'll be fine. Anyway, I follow a few YouTube channels. One of them is on relationship advice, where this is what he does a lot. And it's always really fun to listen to people's situations. And so I'm really excited to do that for you guys who are suffering with depersonalization, realization, and many other symptoms associated with that. So I'm looking forward to it. And the email is stories@coachjordanhardgrave.com. Stories, STORIES, at coachjordanhardgrave.com. I'm going to put all this in a link in the description. It's not a link, just in the description below, as well as the first pinned comment. You guys can check it out. And as soon as I start getting stories in, I'll start recording videos. And I just want to say you guys are amazing. And I hope that this will lead to a lot of people getting encouragement and knowing that they're not alone, because that's really the first phase of healing, is just realizing that you're not going nuts, and that a lot of people experience what you're experiencing. But with these symptoms in particular, talking mainly about depersonalization, realization, it's just so hard for people to describe it. And there's not enough awareness, and we have to change that. Okay? All right, that is it. You guys have an amazing day. I look forward to seeing your emails.